Hey, how's it going? It's Chief Gully here. So last time we talked, I was building out a desk. I wound up just cutting the pieces and stopping right there. So right here is the desk. I'm going to show you that here in a minute. Essentially, it doesn't look like we got a whole lot done today, but it actually is a lot, and I'll explain why. So as you can see, our 4 pieces of wood have been cut, put together, rounded off the edges. Simply done. I used a templated hole, put it up next to it, drew it out, used the jigsaw, and then sanded it down the rest of the way. All the wood's been smoothed out. This right here is going to be the bottom. You can see the 2 pocket holes on each side here that I use to actually mount the stuff. Now, typically, this right here will come back apart, and what we'll do is we'll wind up gluing it with wood glue, so that it's not just the pocket hole screws, it's the wood glue as well, and that's going to create a sturdier bond. Now, sanding this it wasn't that hard. So we start off with a 120 for sanding. We get the rough edges and stuff like that down. We also use that to pull out some of the chips and stuff like that. Not all of them, as you can see. There's still a lot of rough wood there. So after we do it with the 120, get everything together, get our edges rounded and all that, then we take and we get a 220, and a 220 grit is a finer grit. So then we go over it with that, and that gets a smoother shade. Now, if you ever wondered how when you buy a piece of furniture it's got that glass finish on it, that's how they do it. They start off with a small number grit, 50, 80, whatever, do the rough out, then go back over it with 120, 150, then 180, then a 220, then all the way up to like a 400, 800, depending on exactly how fine you want to get that. But that's how they get that glass shine. The point is that you have to step it up like that, because if you take a 80 grit or 800 grit and try to push wood with it, all you're going to do is just smooth out the very, very top of it. And that'll get you a glass shine on some of the stuff, but most of the stuff, especially because it's got the veins on it, most of it's not going to get glass shine, so it's still going to look like ass. However, if you take and you step up, that 50 is going to smooth away the really heavy stuff. Then that 120 is going to smooth away the medium stuff. Then that 220 is going to get the fine stuff. Then a 360 is going to get the molecular stuff, and then you finally get up to like a 400, 800, whatever grit you go with. I've seen them as high as 990s. You get that high, and what winds up happening is that you get such a fine smooth on it that it looks like glass. And then we put sealant and stain and all that. Well, very simply, you get a nice looking finish. So I still have to do the routing on the edges here. I still got to do the routing on the inside edges. So to do that, I'm going to get my glass, and I'm going to figure out where exactly I want it. Now, I need a bigger back piece than I need a front piece, and the reason for that is because I've got a monitor stand. If you watch my first video, you can actually see it. It holds 2 monitors. That right there actually clamps on. Now, I don't want that on the glass anymore, because that's where it's clamped onto right now. I've got some pads and stuff underneath to protect the glass, but best case scenario, I get it onto the wood, right? I can even mount it onto the wood using lag bolts, and we can go over that when I get to that step. So after getting that routed and making sure that the glass fits, the next thing that's going to come in is the box out, and that's going to get the standard frame that it sits on. So typically it's 36 inches high, and then it's whatever. But you have to make sure that you've got enough load-bearing structure on all pieces in order to make sure that your end result is held. Without that load-bearing structure, what winds up happening is that you get a bow in it. Like you probably noticed, like if you got a bookshelf or something at home, a lot of books, they bow out. That's because there's no supporting structure, and it's thin wood. Thicker wood, less supporting structure. But ultimately, we're going to box it out. But we're not only going to box it out for that, we're also going to box it out so that we can actually mount on joystick mounts that slide in and out. That's my plan. We're going to do like some little Art Deco type stuff to make it look nice, of course. Because, I got a wife, gotta look nice. Other than that, that's about where we're going to stop today. Again, this is Chief Gully. I want to thank you for watching, and if you want to see why I do all this stuff and why I like making my own desks and why particularly I have my joysticks, Or if you just happened upon this because you were looking at some woodwork stuff, please do me a favor. Check out RSI. That's RobertSpaceIndustries.com. Check out the Nubifier. Check out VerseCon because that's coming up in October. Less than a month away. We're almost there, guys. Almost there. If you can't make it overseas to what is it, CitizenCon, then come down to Austin for VerseCon. I'm going to be there. The Astropub's going to be there. A lot of people are going to be there. Check it out.